Welcome everyone to the Universal Orlando Resort, where Velocicoaster is no longer the latest thrill ride here in Orlando, Florida. We now have the addition of Stardust Racers over at Universal's Epic Universe, and it's gotten everyone talking. What is the superior roller coaster? What is that best ride in Orlando?
You have Velocicoaster, which is more of like a full themed experience, right? But then you have Stardust Racers, a little more on just like the stylized side, but it has got airtime galore. So which one is it?
Yeah, so we're gonna go around and ask a bunch of people which attraction they prefer. We're gonna get as large of a sample size as we can to try to figure out, in general, which attraction people like more. All right, man, we're out here in front of Velocicoaster. Gotta ask you, what do you like better, this or Stardust?
I gotta go with Velocicoaster.
Why?
Ejector airtime on it and just the hang time too. I love it.
And Stardust doesn't sell merch.
It's true. Where's it at? I was looking for it and it wasn't there.
Lame.
So I've given it a lot of thought, and after like 4 or 5 rides on Stardust so far, I think I give the edge to Velocicoaster just a little bit. Only because if you take one of the tracks and you're just riding on one side without the dueling aspect, it's still a good ride, but it's not as, I'd say, intense or unique as Velocicoaster. I think Velocicoaster has the edge just because the ride itself is really good and can stand alone by itself, or if you take the dueling aspect away from this, you just have an okay ride in my opinion.
I prefer airtime a lot, so there's Stardust, but the airtime's really quick and sharp. Not my favorite type of airtime. Velocicoaster's probably better rounded, but I mean, like, if I could have one right now, I think I would ride Stardust.
All right.
Stardust Racers.
I'm voting Velocicoaster.
I'll also vote Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
What about it?
Well, I've done it many more times than this. This is my second time on this one. The first time doing the dueling. And I think I just need more time for this one to ruminate. But the dueling aspect is definitely what sells it.
Yeah.
However, I just think Velocicoaster is so good. The height always scares me every single time. It doesn't matter. So that's my vote.
Yeah, I think the second half of Velocicoaster is like my favorite of any roller coaster I've ever ridden.
All right, 2 more points for Velocicoaster.
Woo!
I like Velocicoaster a lot. I've got something over 100 rides on it now. Love, of course, the Mosasaurus roll at the very end of the ride. Stardust Racers has a good launch. Do I think it's better than Velocicoaster's second launch? No, in my honest opinion. I love the layout of Stardust Racers. Second half is just you're dueling and racing with the other coaster, and that's what I missed about like Dueling Dragons. Velocicoaster doesn't have that dueling element, so it's a lot of give and take, give and take. I'm gonna get a lot of hell for this, but I'm leaning more and more as I ride it that I actually like Stardust a little bit more. I didn't say that.
Oh, no.
If I go back to like my first time experiences with Velocicoaster, I would say that's a better experience. It like fits with the like Florida atmosphere. And then when I go to like Stardust Racers, as a enthusiast, a roller coaster enthusiast, it just boom, 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 airtime, 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 and I just love that part. But if I had to like rank them, I would go yellow side, then Velocicoaster, then green side, and above everything else, Hagrid's.
So for me, I personally prefer Velocicoaster just because it's a slightly more intense ride and it feels like it does a lot more than just airtime. Stardust Racers is awesome though. If you love airtime, you'll love Stardust Racers. And also all the dueling elements are phenomenal. That celestial spin especially, it almost feels like the 2 trains are like dancing together. It's really, really pretty. Maybe my opinion will change when I ride it at night, but as of right now, I prefer Velocicoaster.
Velocicoaster is really intense and it's really awesome. And this is just, I don't know, it feels special. I think it's because there's 2 coasters going together at the same time. I thought when you first said to me, you know, and told me about the ride, I thought, so what's the big deal? 2 coasters going together. It's really, really fun. I really don't have the words to describe it. There's just this really cool feeling as you're so close, especially that one part. The coasters are so close. You can see the faces of the other riders. It's just so exciting. It's fun. I loved it.
So which one? Take your pick.
Probably Stardust.
Stardust Racers, all right. What do you think? Stardust or Velocicoaster?
Hulk.
That wasn't one of the options.
I know, but that's my answer.
That's such a Tanner Tucker opinion.
But honestly, between those 2, I pick Velocicoaster. I think Velocicoaster overall, the ride is a little bit more intense than Stardust Racers, but Stardust Racers is really good.
So for me, I was lucky enough to be able to ride this today and also ride Velocicoaster this past Tuesday. I would say for me right now, Velocicoaster still has the edge. For me, the theming is more of a full package. I haven't really felt anything as intense as the Mosasaurus roll. So for me, it's Velocicoaster, but that might change. I'm going to be doing some night rides tonight, so we'll see if a night ride on Stardust changes my mind.
All right.
They are so close in my rankings. I would also have to give the slight edge to Velocicoaster. I just think it's more forceful. The airtime on this is definitely stronger. I do think Velocicoaster just has a higher range of sensations, and I do appreciate that.
There you go.
Wow, I'm going to be the odd man out because while Velocicoaster is amazing and I love the theming and the experience, the dueling on this to me takes it over the top. I love the theming of Velocicoaster, but I think each of these tracks stands as a ride that by itself would be an amazing ride. But when you spend 80% of the ride right next to the other track, that puts it over the top for me.
I'll probably have to go Velocicoaster still. I think if the rides were standalone and they weren't actually dueling, then it wouldn't be as fun. I definitely have to get more Stardust rides. I only have 2 on green, 1 on yellow. But I'd say from a layout standpoint, from beginning to end, I think Velocicoaster is a more complete ride.
All right, guys, so this one's really tough for me, but I think I'm gonna go for Velocicoaster because when I talk about rides, I think about standout moments on a ride. Velocicoaster kind of has the Mosasaurus roll, and that kind of, I think, destroys anything on Stardust Racers. I don't know if I'm
It's not that hot of a take, no.
fair to compare,
That's
but then
valid.
Stardust Racers, I do like the double boost on the first launch. I don't know how to explain it. That's pretty crazy. But this is perfect. This is our Terron in our backyard. I don't know. I'm sorry, Velocicoaster.
You know, I'm a big Velocicoaster fan. You know, it's one of my favorite rides ever. You know, I think have it second in Florida, number 4 all time. But I don't know if it's recency bias or not, but I think I got to give it to Stardust now. When you look at the 2 rides, not only is the dueling aspect of this just makes the ride so much better, I think it's just more fast-paced, where Velocicoaster is a complete ride because it feels like 2 different sections. But me personally, I just like the fast pace of Stardust, and the airtime honestly is undefeated. I will say though, Velocicoaster launches, they still win over Stardust, but I think as an overall package, I'd take Stardust.
So you've heard a lot of thoughts in there, people weighing in on which attraction they prefer. And frankly, there's some compelling arguments for both coasters. Regardless of which one you like more, these attractions are so strong, absolutely world class.
Absolutely. This is a really hard choice because it's comparing your kids, right? Which one's your favorite kid? I do love them both very, very much. So it feels wrong to pick one, but I will.
I feel objectively speaking, these attractions are both 10 out of 10. I probably have them pretty close to each other in my general rankings. But we do have to make a decision like everyone else. So, all right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, Stardust. Okay. All right. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of thought you were gonna say Velocicoaster.
So, like I said, it's an impossible choice. But if I have to pick, I am an airtime lover. While this obviously has very good airtime moments, Stardust is stupid with how much airtime it has. And that's what gets me laughing. That's what gets me wanting to ride over and over and over again. And to say that there's no recency bias is probably a lie. Come back to me in a couple years and we'll see how this ages. As of right now, I love the dueling aspect so much. I love how beautiful it is at night. This feels complete because it has the theming and everything, and the layout is absolutely amazing. But if I were to take just the layout versus layout, I like Stardust better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I really had to think objectively, which roller coaster would I rather ride at the moment? And the answer is Stardust.
That is a little unfair,
I know that it has to be a recency bias thing, but again, layout to layout, I feel Velocicoaster builds and gets better and better, and I feel Stardust starts at 100 and it ends at 100.
That's true.
So I feel there's something to be said about that. I mean, hands down, the theming is better at Velocicoaster, but
that's not a competition.
But that isn't to say that Stardust, the ambiance and vibe with it, isn't really well done.
I really like the storyline of it too. I think it's really cool, the idea of oh, we lasted the comments. No, it's your turn to ride. I'm okay.
Yeah, and I just think the fact that you have the 2 sides makes it such a unique experience. There's a lot of great Intamin multi-launch coasters around the world, but Stardust, especially when you think about other dueling coasters or racing coasters, it really stands on its own.
Yeah.
And so from a uniqueness perspective, I feel Stardust is just on a level that you don't really get elsewhere. Like, I wouldn't even really compare it to like other mock coasters.
No, but I will give a caveat. If I had to pick a single best moment on both of those coasters, it's that little baby back there, little Mosasaurus roll. Celestial Spin's amazing. That's still my favorite inversion here, though.
Frankly, no matter which one won this video, I would be completely satisfied because these are two world-class coasters that I absolutely adore.
And I feel a little less guilty knowing that it won, even though I didn't pick it. I'm like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
My
we
guilt is
let the
absolved.
people speak for themselves.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that you have to come down here to Orlando, Florida, and try out both of them.
Oh, God, yeah.
And let us know down in the comments below which ride you like more. If you agree with the points that were brought up in this video, and if you think there was anything that was missed, you know where to post it. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.